We'll go ahead and call to order the Board of Adjustments special meeting for Thursday, April 24th, 2025. It is 4:01. Before we start, I'll read first, then we'll swear in. Hearings before the Board of Adjustments are quasi-judicial in nature. Decisions of the board are based on the records of these proceedings. To grant a variance requires a concurrent vote of 4/5 of the members of the board. Reverse or modify the determination of an administrative official requires a simple majority. Evidence submitted to the board for review becomes part of the record. Appeals of the board's decision are to Superior Court and are based on the record. Appeals must be filed within 30 days of the date of filing of the board's order in the planning division. A hearing before the board is conducted in accordance with the rules of procedure. Those who want to testify in a case are sworn as witnesses. The chairperson recognizes those who want to testify or their attorneys for presentation of evidence during the hearing. To ensure that all testimony is properly recorded, please come forward to address the board, state your name, address, and speak clearly. Right, next thing we'll do is anyone that's going to speak.
Yep, if you'll, applicant, staff, member of the public who wishes to speak, if you might speak, stand and raise your right hand. You swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you.
All right. Our next item will be a new business regarding 1135 Davis Sound Lane, a variance for City Code Section 18-199 to allow for an accessory structure to exceed the square footage for a principal structure.
Thank you, Chairman Havas. Thank all of you for showing up for this special meeting on such short notice. The subject property at 1135 Davis Sound Lane is zoned R15 and contains a 1,340 square foot single family dwelling and a 200 square foot shed. City Code Section 18-199 allows up to 2 accessory structures on a residential lot, provided the combined square footage of all accessory structures does not exceed the gross floor area of the primary structure. Based on the square footage of the existing house and the existing accessory building, City Code would allow 1 additional accessory structure up to 1,140 square feet in area on this property. The applicant has proposed a second accessory building that's approximately 2,100 square feet in area for a combined total area of 2,300 square feet, which exceeds the allowable area by 960 square feet. The applicant has not identified any unique features about the subject lot that would prevent attaching the proposed accessory building to the principal structure and eliminate the need for a variance. On February 11th, 2025, city staff accepted the applicant's request and set this matter for hearing before the Board of Adjustment on April 17th, 2025. This item was continued from that meeting to this meeting today, April 24th, 2025. I'd like to enter the case summary and all attachments into the record. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have of staff, and the applicant is also present.
Anybody have questions for Catherine? All right. We'll move on to the applicant is behind. Oh, okay.
If you'd like to come.
Yeah, I'd like to come up that way exactly.
Okay.
And you're Mr. Kuntz?
Yes.
Okay.
State your.
Robert T. Kuntz. And the address, the 1135 is your, okay. All right. Do you have more to add in addition?
Not really. I mean, it's basically gonna be a detached garage. 2 little kids at home. Our current 2-car garage has turned into another playroom. So, where to park a car is a lawnmower, the typical storage needs.
Does anyone have questions?
Have you looked at maybe reconfiguring what you propose to do, maybe moving the garage a little closer to your home? Because if it's attached to your home, you miss the breatheway. You don't need a variance. But what we're looking at here is 2 accessory structures rather than 1, and almost 1,000 square feet above what's allowed.
Yeah. So the future garage is at the bottom of the screen.
Right.
That is property line with a neighbor who just built a giant house with a pool. And so basically that detached structure is going to act as another blinding point, just so we can't look into other's backyards. And the building I'm proposing to build is going to be just a metal garage. Financially, it's a lot cheaper than doing a stick build. My house was built in the 50s and it's been added on twice. that I can tell so far. When you start peeling into stuff like that to add on to it, it kind of turns into a nightmare. I'm an electrician by trade. My brother's a GC, so we have, kind of extensive background. And
Well, I mean, you could attach it by nothing more than a breezeway.
yeah, but
Scoot it up a little bit and attach it would be a breezeway.
the way the dog yard, my layout of my house is, it just doesn't make sense. And what it'll also do is it kills the back of my house right now for sun until midday. I mean, it's an acre lot. If this was a new residential building, it'd be 4 houses on my land.
Anybody else have questions for the applicant?
Where's the driveway on this?
It's actually in front of my house.
What's coming down?
Yeah, it's a private dirt road that comes in front of all the homes. So it'd come in front of my house and you'd basically turn, and then that's where the garage is.
Okay. So on the right side, or I guess the east border, is where you're proposing to put that structure?
Yeah, if you go back to the other page, the drawing, I should say. So the driveway is where it's 36 feet. My driveway comes down there and actually turns.
Okay.
And so my current garage is where the 24-foot 10 mark is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of where all my cars are right now, my work van and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And that's another thing this garage will also serve for me to store my wire and boxes and all this stuff, my electrical part. It kind of just flows the best with how the driveway comes in and sweeps and everything. Because then there's like swing sets and octagon, everything's kind of spread out through the back of the yard with trampoline. And this is kind of tucked over. It was just like a wooded area that I've slowly been trying to like knock down the brush to build this.
Any other questions for the applicant? Yes, sir.
Well, forgive me, but does it have to be so much larger than the amount that is allowed? I mean, that we could avoid this challenge.
Yeah, because I have 2 old cars that are currently at my parents' house that I would like to eventually have come down. I used to have my 50 F100 in my garage, which got turned into a playroom with 2 little kids. It'd be nice to have 2 vehicles I could store in there, my 2 older cars. And then, like I said, just all the overflow for my electrical. It'd be nice to be able to pull my van in something and unload and load stuff when it's raining or in that sort of situation. When you build a garage, it's always never big enough.
Anybody else? No, I'm just not even into, but when we end the public, you're one of the
First alternate.
right, and right now you'll be just observing. Everyone will be making so, but all right. So anyone else have any questions for the applicant, Catherine? Or I guess we'll wait till the hearing part. All right. Well, what we'll do is we'll move into the evidentiary hearing. And this is time for anyone else to present any other information. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak? Okay. While we're in this, anything the city wants to add during this process?
Nothing further from the city.
Mr. Kuntz, anything you want to add during the evidentiary part?
No, thank you.
All right, we'll go ahead and close the evidentiary hearing. Anything else from the city as far as rebuttal or anything else?
I guess I just ask that if you, should you choose to grant the variance, you go through the findings of fact to explain how it meets each of those.
Yeah, definitely. And Mr. Kuntz, anything else for the applicant? Anything else to add?
I mean, this is kind of a big financial debt for me and my family, but it also helps us grow. Having the 2 little kids at home with everything, it's nice to get the rest of the stuff out of that garage, kind of give them an area to play safely and then have somewhere else that we can store all of our stuff.
Yeah, like I said, we're tied to the 4 findings back, so our hands are we're restrained. We don't have a whole lot of leeway in what we can do, but anybody, any or decision boards, any questions for the members at the table? Discussion?
If you close the evidentiary hearing,
I did. Yeah, I did. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Well, the issue that I have is really the four findings of fact. I mean, that's what we're limited to, and there are remedies attaching it to your home via breezeway, maybe reducing the size a little bit. Because I don't see how the variance request meets the four findings of fact, really. I mean, it is a hardship because you can't build your garage, but, it doesn't result from conditions that are peculiar to the property because there are alternative solutions. It really kind of does result in action second by you because you want to put the second accessory structure there. It's going to be 960 square feet out. I think it's 960 out of compliance. And so I just don't see how we meet the four findings of fact in this case.
I mean, the size of the lot has no,
We closed the public side. This is just, we're having a discussion.
oh,
Just, we have the information that you presented on that. Awesome. Anyone else?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think the unnecessary hardship is the first four findings of fact rather, is the one I'm struggling with. It does feel like it's more of an inconvenience than an unnecessary hardship caused by the way that this property is positioned right now. That's just the one thing that I'm struggling with.
I certainly am sympathetic to the fact that we all have too much stuff that needs storage someplace, but I agree with my colleagues that I don't think it quite meets numbers 1 and 3 in particular of the facts that need to be established by the applicant.
Anybody, other discussion or motion?
Well, I'll make a motion to deny the variance request based on the fact that it does not meet the four findings of fact.
There's been a motion to denial. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, and seconded. All those in favor of the motion to denial say yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyone in favor? All right, the variance does not pass. We'll move on to item number 2. 710 North Kerr Avenue. The variance with City Code Section 18-323 to eliminate the buffer requirements for a proposed multifamily project from an unbuildable remnant tract of an R10 residential property located adjacent to the site. Back or presenting?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the board. This is our second item located at 710 North Kerr Avenue. The site is located along North Kerr Avenue and New Center Drive and contains approximately 2.11 acres. The site is currently zoned R10, medium density single dwelling district. The site is bordered to the north and south by R10 and R7 to the west. The subject property is also bordered to the east by property located in New Hanover County jurisdiction in zone R15. In front of you is the proposed site plan. The applicant has requested to rezone to MD 17 CD, high density multiple dwelling residential district for the construction of a 48 unit senior housing development. The City of Wilmington's Land Development Code, Section 18-323, requires transitional buffers along all property lines where districts of differing intensity abut to protect adjoining land uses from noise, heat, dust, lights, threats to privacy, and aesthetic impact from more intense land uses. The subject property is bounded to the south by an unbuildable remnant parcel that is zoned R10 and triggers the requirement for a transitional buffer. In lieu of the buffer, the applicant will provide streetscape landscaping and sidewalk along New Center Drive, which will close the gap between the intersection of Kerr Avenue and New Center Drive. March 4th, 2025, the applicant submitted a request for a variance to section 18-323 to eliminate the required buffer along the southern property boundary nearest to New Center Drive between the subject property and the Smith Creek Village Townhomes HOA parcel. This matter is set for hearing before the Board of Adjustment on April 24th. This concludes staff's presentation. I'd like my case summary to be entered in the record, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Right, so does anyone have any questions for Zach? Yes,
So this whole variance request, just because of the unbuildable.
That's correct. Forgive me, excuse my ignorance. So if I understood correctly, the applicant is saying they could do some landscaping. We have a buffer, transitional buffer requirement. What's what's the effective difference? What do we expect in a normal transitional buffer that might not be accomplished by, let's say, the landscaping that is proposed?
I think the buffer, I think it's a little bit, ask for more requirements of landscaping, it's a little bit more.
Okay, so not necessarily species trees, but more distance or different types of.
It's typically about the same kind of landscaping. There's required trees and plantings. I think the buffer would require more than the.
One thing about it is just a little strip of land that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Right. No, I got that. I was thinking in terms of what constitutes a buffer that would normally be expected under 18323 and what the delta is, if any, between that and what the applicant is.
This buffer would require fencing as well.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions of Zach? All right, is the applicant?
So I spoke with the applicant before. They came last week from
Yeah,
Columbus, Ohio, so they're still in Columbus. He did inform me all the information that he was planning to present was provided in the application.
Yeah. We also, we have an affidavit. Is that public? Is the affidavit for the public?
I haven't been provided.
Oh, we didn't get the,
They didn't
they didn't do
give
it?
me additional information.
So that wouldn't be part of the presentation. I just didn't know if that needed to be.
It was only if they were to provide additional information.
Okay, I got you.
They were happy with what was provided in your case summary.
Okay, thank you.
Could you please go back to the image of Kerr, if we've got it, Kerr Youth Center and a bit of,
This one?
no, the other one just before. Yeah. Okay, so the little wedge that is creating the problem is where again? Forgive me. Is it on Youth Center?
Yeah, that's right there.
I see. And so normally is it the 10-foot front setback? That
If you go to the next slide, it kind of illustrates that little parcel of red is the area in question.
And they would put landscaping in that zone then to sort of.
They were providing streetscape and they're going to also provide sidewalk.
Mhm.
So they're required to put a sidewalk along the frontage of Kerr, but they're not required to put a sidewalk along the new center. So they're willing to provide sidewalk.
And can we go back to the New Center one? Yeah. Okay. So that's not a sidewalk then. Down towards the very bottom of just above the word New Center.
Proposed, yeah.
Yeah, that's proposed. I see. And then behind that would be various forms of landscaping, if I'm hearing you correctly. So that's
Correct.
Right. Okay. And the building itself. And then on the other side, we've got some more landscaping. It looks like a path, landscaping, and then some parking. And then back to.
So typically a buffer will be in a side or a rear yard. It's generally not along a street. It's just there happens to be a little remnant tract here and that creates the technical
I
requirement for a
see.
buffer.
I see.
But what you'd more typically see along a streetscape is the sidewalk and just street yard landscaping and not a privacy fence or anything.
Okay, so basically that's what we're talking. Yes. Thanks. Thank you for clarifying. Yeah.
It's been included in the property, we wouldn't.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you for clarifying.
Sure. All right, so there's nothing else applicant wise, so we'll go ahead and open up the evidentiary hearing. If there's anyone from the public that wants to present any information that's pertinent to this matter, is there anyone that wants to present any information? All right, let's look behind me. I need a little mirror. All right, is there anything else while we're in the hearing that he wants to add during the evidentiary side? We'll go ahead and close the evidentiary hearing. And is there any additional information from the city? All right, turn it over to the members. And
I think the applicant provided streetscape, sidewalk on New Center and closing the gap. Intersection of Carr and New Center. I think the applicant's doing a lot that really helps. And I think that will, if the land, if it wasn't there, we wouldn't be here. So I think the applicant certainly met the four findings of fact. I think what he's proposing to do enhances those development.
anybody else have any thoughts? Does someone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the variance request as requested. That's the four findings of fact.
There's been a motion and someone want to make a second.
Second.
All right, with that being said, all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That variance is granted. We'll move on to anything new with the city other than introductions.
Let's do the introductions.
Yeah.
That's it. So again, we appreciate you coming out for a special meeting on Thursday in a warm, cramped room.
No, warm, so sorry, I haven't been.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's my first.
Yeah, so I sorry I had to shut you down, but you couldn't talk.
No, well, so in full disclosure, I'm a journalist, so questions come easily to me.
It's just, it was in the process of
Yeah.
procedure. Yeah.
And I haven't gotten my training yet. So
Yeah.
forgive me.
No, no worries. Can you, for everyone else, say, just introduce your name?
Sure. My
Yeah.
name is Deirdre Carroll. Everybody calls me Dee. I live downtown here on 16th Street, and I am, I guess, the first, what is the title?
You actually, I
Yes.
believe that you actually are now a full-time member.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
If I saw your. That happened.
I do, yeah, you are a new member. We do have a new alternate though. That's Bill Day. And
He's not here.
yeah, I haven't met him.
And you're doing a training, you said you set that
I'll
up.
set that
Yes.
up soon.
And everyone else is like, anyone wants to, no one has to sit in, but if someone wants to refresher day,
We do have the training, the quasi, May 7th, the quasi judicial, see you guys on that?
Yeah. And are we gonna meet somewhere and do that together?
Right here. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Be nice.
That'd be great.
Okay, but
Maybe we'll try to find a room with air conditioning.
I was just saying, bring covered ice. Cool.
We can figure
Get the
something more comfortable out.
Yeah.
Do you guys think you will be able to make it? I
The
believe
7th?
May 7th for, it's the afternoon. Is it 1:30 to 4:30?
it's a good session to do. I've done it before. And it's a good session to attend if you can.
It's 1 to 4:30.
And Catherine's bringing a grapes.
We'll bring grapes. I'm gonna write that down. You haven't had grapes in a while.
Grapes, I see. We get like Roman
Yeah.
benches and just.
Yeah,
Is it red or green?
either one.
Okay,
Grapes or grapes.
That's been a long time.
It has been.
it's been a while.
Get away from the free food after the county commissioners or M&Ms.
No, I'll buy the grapes.
But all right, is anything else city-wise that for today? All right, we're adjourned. Appreciate it. Thank you.